Well, good afternoon. Welcome in to our coverage of the National League Championship. It is a top-of-the-table clash between Birkenhead United and Auckland City. It's a Northern League derby. These two teams have started their respective campaigns in fine form, both with perfect records at this early stage of the National League season. Pretty good day. There's a bit of a breeze, which may be a factor here at Shepherds Park, but otherwise a pretty good day for football as we confirm that table with Birkenhead on top on goal difference. Auckland City sitting in second place, but equal on the 6 points. Indeed, it's an Auckland-dominated table with Auckland United in thirds. So this one will see one of these two teams anyway lose a perfect record. If they were to draw, of course, they'll stay identical and move to 7 points on the table. Andrew Dewhurst with you alongside former All-White Hedamai Anata as we look at the respective teams, and Albert Riera with a lot of familiar names, Harry, in this lineup for Auckland City.
Yeah, absolutely, and Ryan, absolutely, Andrew. Let's get my mic right there, but yeah, a lot of familiar names. Adam Mitchell at the Brack, Sam Brotherton, obviously two former youth internationals, Mario Illich, Cam Howison. Obviously, we've seen him represent the All Whites in the recent games against Australia. And up the front, great to see Ryan de Vries back in. 2 goals for him over the course of the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, a goal against Kashmir and against Olympic for Ryan de Vries. So they are a hugely respected lineup. Auckland City, always, and of course they've lost just the once in all competitions so far this season. Birkenhead United, perhaps a little bit new to some of our viewers from outside of the Auckland region, but again they've been doing great things in Northern League football over recent years, and Paul Hobson has a pretty settled lineup as well.
I don't know how long Hobbo's been there, but he's certainly been there for a period of time. Won 2 Chatham Cups, 2016 and 2018, so. And Sam Burfoot there sitting in that number 10 role. Look for him and Dane Schnell to be the key guys going forward for Birkenhead this afternoon. Yeah,
this battle here between the two skippers is going to be fascinating in midfield. Two very combative players. Kelvin Berg, the referee for this one, assisted by Jack Henderson and Brandon Day with the flags. So there is Sam Burfoot, who certainly plays bigger than his size. He would be fighting in a different weight category if he had the gloves on. He is a feisty character and a great man to have leading this Birkenhead lineup. When they last clashed, we had goals aplenty. Harry, 5-3. Auckland City won this one back in July in the Northern League. So two teams that like to play attacking football.
Yeah, we've seen I've seen Birkenhead a couple of times already this year in the opening rounds, and obviously two wins, a 3-1 first round win against Christchurch United. They followed that up last week with a 4-2 win against Miramar Rangers. So, yeah, a team that Paul Hobson has curated into a very attack-minded front line. But equally at the back, Dino Bodica and Dylan Hobson have been standouts for me in their first 2 rounds as well.
So there'll be plenty of feeling. Two teams that know each other well from the Northern League. As we see Dane Schnell there, he is a goal-scoring threat, has 2 so far this season, both scored last round against Miramar Rangers. Curtis Hughes, wearing 23, will play up front alongside Dane Schnell. A couple of changes from that performance against Miramar, but otherwise pretty settled. And they have goals on the bench as well in Connor McLean and Taylor, who have both got on the goal scoring list so far this season. Just about ready to go here at Shepherds Park.
Again, looking at the depth as well for Albert Riera on his bench. You talked about the bench on there for Birkenhead. You know, Christian Gray, Angus Kilcolly, you know, Emiliano Talade as well. So a lot of depth on the bench for Auckland City. So I'm sure we'll see subs later on in this game. That if it does go pretty close, then you know who's got the depth to change it in the last stages.
Kelvin Berg gets us underway, and it is the home side, Birkenhead, who will attack from our right. Both teams wearing their traditional colours, so very familiar Auckland City dominance on the club scene. Over, I was going to say the last decade or so, you've got to go back beyond that as well. The various formats of the National League, they have just been a hotbed of football talent in this country as Birkenhead start well And a little tester there for Connor Tracy, just glad to swallow that one up early on. So Birkenhead with the first foray into the Auckland City penalty area.
Yeah, it was a good down. I think Curtis Hughes on the right-hand side there for Birkenhead.
So for Auckland City, you would expect a lot of the play to go through Mario Illich, who sit in that holding midfield role. Cam Howison as well, look for him to get a few touches in midfield. There's an opportunity now down this left wing side. Jackson Woods, and they switch back onto the right. Dylan Hobson. Auckland City look to pass their way through midfield. Pretty good playing surface too, Harry. Shouldn't be too many excuses for both sets of players out there today. Of course, Birkenhead a little more familiar on their home track. Nice, the ball played in, and Tracy stayed on his line. Dangerous from Birkenhead. And in the opening 2 minutes, they are the team to press, and that's handy again. Played into the penalty area. Auckland City clearing their lines, and now looking to set up on the counter through Joe Lee, and he runs into a strong challenge.
Yeah, impressive start by Birkenhead, and it's quality, Andrew. I mean, those 3 crosses that we've already seen come through. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to find a white shirt in the box, but already 3 crosses in the opening 2 minutes.
And again, it was Woods. Auckland City just forcing Birkenhead to adjust, but they've got plenty of passing options there. And again, the early signs, 2.5 minutes played, and what have we had? 3 or 4 crosses into the box. So Birkenhead looking to be pretty direct, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And getting balls in early. I think we've seen Connor Tracy come for that first one, but the last 2 crosses, one from the right and one from the left, and that one was a bit straight from the back from Birkenhead. I think Connor Tracy would be quite happy just to slow things down a touch. We know that Auckland City will definitely look to potentially play out from the back, and we see a high press already from Birkenhead as well.
Oh, Auckland City are both lucky, but they still give possession away. There's a shooting opportunity, deflection just hits the post, and on the rebound they've scored early. This is a stunning opening from Birkenhead, and it's their captain, Sam Burfoot, who scores, and it seems incredible after just 3.5 minutes to say that it's been coming, but it has.
Well, we talked about Sam Burfoot at the top of the game this afternoon, Andrew. So influential, both going forward and in the back in midfield for Birkenhead. And what an acrobatic! Look at the dexterity and just the technique from Sam Burwood there. What a start for Birkenhead.
Luke Jorgensen it was with the initial strike. It all stemmed from a poor attempt from Auckland City to play out from the back. And initially I thought they'd caught a break where the ball went clear of the penalty area, but Birkenhead were quick to make them pay. Jorgensen, his shot was deflected onto the post, and Burfoot was the first to react. And Auckland City have just not come out of the dressing rooms yet. Swung in by Schnell, and not in time, so a goal kick.
Well, you've got to give credit to Birkenhead, Andrew. They've looked so aggressive in the opening 4 minutes. Already we've seen, I think, 3 or 4 crosses into the box. Obviously that Connor Tracy trying to play out from the back. And that press for Birkenhead certainly turned over possession. And as you said, the cross from Jorgensen initially, and then the acrobatic technique from Sam Burfoot to find the back of the net. Good start from Paul Hobson's team.
We mentioned that 5-3 encounter back on the 13th of July, so are we in for something similar this afternoon? Auckland City will certainly be hoping so, because they came out on top on that occasion, but they'll have to play from behind here, and they start to get a few touches through Mitchell and Brotherton, and now it's their turn to go direct, and a first sighting of Silvio Roddick in goal.
Yeah, Birkenhead just haven't let Auckland City settle at all. And this is the way they started, Andrew, against their first couple of games against Christchurch and against Miramar as well. They set out right from the start to really press high early, high energy, turning the ball over like we see in this sort of area now.
Can't capitalise on that occasion, but they did put pressure on at Auckland City midfield. And Birkenhead have a throw to be taken by Dylan Hobson.
I mean, there's no doubt that you can't maintain that intensity for 90 minutes, but, in certain stages or phases within the game where you kind of feel it's the time is now. Obviously, opening whistle, they're full on, full press, turn the ball over, high energy. You get the goal that you need. Okay, now it's consolidation, and it's Auckland City that now have to try and try and find a way.
Drake is the victim of a heavy challenge here, and the referee wants a word early just to calm things down, and hadn't yet blown the whistle to restart. Auckland City, though, they won't be phased by this. They'll be concerned, obviously, but gosh, they've been in so many football matches over the last couple of years, so many situations at all levels of the game, whether it's Northern League, a risky ball again played across the heart of that Auckland defence, but they pretty much face adversity down, and 99% of the time they come out on top. A chance now on the break here for Birkenhead. Woods has been prominent down this left wing side. Jorgensen and Woods again.
Yeah, Riera won't be happy with the way, I suppose, with Auckland City's inability to be able to keep the ball in what's normal for them in those tight situations. They are very good at playing the short-range passing game, keeping the ball, those small triangles in and around. They move players, they move the ball quick. They just haven't been able to settle this afternoon.
Birkenhead again, across on that occasion was not accurate enough. There'll be a lot of expectation on the likes of Cam Howison, the skipper, to just settle the team. A little flick is ineffectual from Ryan de Vries. De Vries has been a little bit of a traveller, hasn't he, in recent years in terms of his football career, but as you mentioned, Harry, great to see him back in the domestic game here in New Zealand. That one just catching his heels. He is a goal scorer of some quality, powerful player, and sniffs out a half chance and he can make you pay.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly has the pedigree we've seen in the domestic game for the last sort of decade. I know he said he's tried his luck overseas as well. Good to see, as you said, good to see him back in an Auckland City shirt.
Vale, given plenty of time and space, and again de Vries is the target. Birkenhead's turn to defend on the edge of their area, and Jorgensen somehow scrambles that to a teammate, and in turn it is safely over the halfway line. Hughes putting some pressure on Connor Tracy. Howison again, Birkenhead pinch it, dangerous, a shooting opportunity and just scuffing it. Tracy can't grab it, and the rebound, fortunately from an Auckland perspective, goes to a player in blue. Adam Mitchell was right spot, right time.
Yeah, you can certainly see the intent for Birkenhead to continue to apply pressure is definitely paying dividends for them at the moment. You see the turnover, out-muscled on the ball that time, Howison. Dane Schnell with it. I think Connor Tracy probably could have done a lot better and held that potentially. all right saying that sitting in the chair, though, Dewey, I know. But again, they've been pretty relentless, Birkenhead.
Turning away and into open space, Gillian. Howison. Auckland City just not being given time to dwell, to get their heads up on this occasion. They do, and almost getting on the end of that was Cam Howison, with Silvio Roddick deciding it was safer to stay on his line. I think Birkenhead keeper Roddick there might have just had a little fright when he glanced and saw Howison there. I'm sure he felt that was going to go out unattended, but Howison had snuck through from midfield.
Yeah, the conditions are, I mean, let's looking at that, you may have misjudged that ball from Reid Drake, but the conditions are near perfect for football at Shepherds Park. It's a beautiful day here in Auckland. As you touched on, the surface looks fantastic.
Little tumble off the ball that the crowd buys into. It's certainly not the players. There's Vale operating at right fullback, and he meets this high press. And look at Birkenhead with 5 players in and around that centre circle, just putting pressure on Auckland City as soon as they have possession.
You think Auckland City are so familiar and so used to, you know, getting a lot of ball. I think they dominate most games with their possession-based style of football. But yeah, it's very hard to, you know, to keep the ball and to find players if you got your head down. And that's what Birkenhead are doing at the moment. As soon as there's a blue shirt with the ball, there's a Birkenhead player, defender, you know, putting pressure on the ball early on.
Vale. Gillian forced backward. This is all part of the Birkenhead plan. For Auckland City, they've got to try and find a way to break through that press, and then it's the pass through midfield to try and turn Birkenhead and get them on their heels.
Yeah, they've just been a bit static up front for me, Auckland City at the moment. And even if you play that those 3 across the middle of the park, they play quite a, as we know they like to keep possession. They love to play those small triangles and feed off each other, get runners in behind if De Vries is coming short, and he's certainly leading the line for them this afternoon. But they really are lacking, you know, I think some movement up front when players like Jordan Vale are getting the ball with a bit of space on this right-hand side, are having to look out and switch and go out the other side.
Poor pass into midfield, and look at the speed on the counter. Trying to launch something immediately, Birkenhead. It's just oppressive, isn't it, this press? And it's that sort of a pass, that sort of a little flick on, that if Auckland City get it right and they can turn Birkenhead, that'll break them down. But at the moment, the home side putting their plan to good effect.
Yeah, they are picking up. You just saw then that second phase ball going in, and it's a challenge. You get it, the first to it is normally, at the moment, is a white shirt.
Illich for Gillian. A little more direct on that occasion, Auckland, looking for De Vries, but through with far too much pace on it, and through to Roddick. Drake advances. Good return pass now. Time for Reid Drake to try and pick out a target. That's more promising from Auckland City. Throw in right next to the corner flag. Auckland City force the corner. So just ticking up towards 16 minutes played. That early goal from Sam Burfoot in just the 4th minute of action. Auckland City, though, perhaps starting to settle into their work. There's certainly a rare foray into the Birkenhead penalty area. And well taken by the keeper, Roddick, that time commanding his area, and in particular the 6-yard box, and trying to launch the counter immediately, but Auckland City had adjusted. Drake. Turned over, and on that occasion Birkenhead having to go backwards before they can launch anything in an attacking sense. Switch of play now onto the chest of Woods. Jorgensen getting down to the byline, done well and perhaps delayed. He's still there though, Jorgensen, gets it back again. The shot eventually comes in from Schnell that was blocked. It's this combination down this left wing side of Woods and Jorgensen in particular looking quite effective for the home side.
Yeah, and again, it's the pressure on the ball as well. Just now, when you've made some good inroads on that left-hand side, as you said. Dewey Jackson-Wood combining well, getting to the byline. It's always, you know, as a defender too, facing your own goal from those in and around the 6-yard box. Balls are coming back. It's always a tricky time.
Linesman one direction, the referee the other, and usually the man with the whistle wins that debate.
Come on, a bit more, come on! Come on, a little bit more! Jordy, coming in there. Let me talk. Kelly will win it. Kelly will win it. Click, Kelly, click. Up, Jordy, up, Jordy. Kelly. Time. Second seat.
One for De Vries to chase, and he's done well. That's a good example of old-fashioned centre forwards, and a clash there taken late, so the player to go down is not looking too healthy with that challenge, and the referee wants a word here with Corbin Piper. And meanwhile, the injured player looks to be getting some attention. There's a flash of numbers and a contact there. Didn't quite see who it was for Auckland City.
I think it was Reed Drake, Andrew.
It is Drake. So he just got the ball first, didn't he, Harry? And then he was collected late. This was poor timing, and Corbin Piper kept going through with the challenge. So it certainly looked like referee Kelvin Berg was putting something back in his pocket. So yellow card was shown to Corbin Piper. So it was 17 on 17. And Reed Drake still getting some attention. This almost looked to me, Harry, like it could have been worse than it is. And Reed Drake is down and getting some attention, and I think some concern around the rib area. But if anything, to me, it was a glancing blow, and that may have saved Reed Drake from even more serious damage here.
Let's hope he's okay to continue, because he's just slowly come to life on the left-hand side for Auckland City over the last sort of 5 or 7 minutes.
He's a cultured player, likes to advance down that left wing side from fullback and pick out a target and overlap, and we've seen a couple of good moments from Drake, but they are certainly taking some time here with the Auckland City left back. Good news, he's sitting up. You know all about it if you've damaged ribs. The real test will be a little more movement perhaps, and that's always what you want from the physio, is put some pressure on that rib cage and see if anything's broken. No startling movements there from Reid Drake, so let's hope that he's okay. And quite a stoppage in play, and confirming that it was Corbin Piper who was booked for Birkenhead. So plenty of time for both teams to set up for the free kick. So Birkenhead have the wall organised. Cam Howison over the ball. It'll be a left-footed strike. And when I say strike, you would expect something towards the far post for teammates to run onto. That's exactly, well, he went the opposite way, in fact, and drew a good save. So Cam Howison did not fool Silvio Roddick as he fooled me.
Yeah, great free kick from Cam Howison, looking to beat Roddick at that near post.
Birkenhead now set up to defend the corner. And Roddick with the punch. Good punch too. And Birkenhead leave a player up front and they're quick to spring others forward. And again, there's a little off the ball contact, not for the first time in the match, but referee not interested, as Auckland City with an early delivery into the penalty area, cleared at least outside the area. Jorgensen just does enough. And the last touch here is off Liam Gillian, and Birkenhead have the goal kick. Tall, rangy keeper is Roddick, and handy with the ball at his feet as well. That's a good delivery. Piper, the player who was booked, might just take a little edge off his play in that midfield and that high press. Forrester. Illich rolls a pass for De Vries. De Vries, an angled ball. You could see the idea. Just a little too far in advance of Joe Lee. It's just a hint there of Auckland City's ability. They string 2 or 3 passes together and they can create chances very quickly.
I think we know what sort of the pace and physicality that Ryan De Vries brings, his goal scoring ability too, but the way he leads the line, great ball, first touch, and just unfortunate the execution for that pass wasn't great.
Tracy alerts and smothering that one. Sam Burfoot's in the mood, already having scored, and again into the penalty area.
It's those two we talked about earlier, Schnell and Burfoot. They'll be so busy for Birkenhead this afternoon. Schnell already with a couple of goals so far this season. Burfoot with that opening goal after 4 minutes as well.
Offside flag here. Down in this left wing corner for Birkenhead. De Vries pretty well covered on that occasion by Dino Bodica at the heart of that Birkenhead defence. No free kick the first time, and in fact nothing the second time. Now there is. I think referee Calvin Berg was looking to see if there was an advantage.
It looked like an advantage to me, Andrew, because
I wondered
was
whether the flag may have been going up here.
there was the free kick there.
But you're right, Burfoot was clear down that left wing side. I can only think perhaps had he wandered into an offside position, but whatever the rationale is, they're back for the free kick to be taken by Dylan Hobson. Delivered towards the far post. Piper initially looking to get involved. Burfoot keeps it alive. They deliver into the penalty area again, and again Birkenhead not shy of numbers in advanced positions. And De Vries having to elude 2 or 3 challenges, and the referee now very quick to get involved, and I think the possibility of another card. There's an awful lot of blowing of the whistle, and the referee is calling Birkenhead United player over. I think it could be Cameron McKenzie. Sam Burfoot, the skipper, is there arguing the case for the defence, and both captains are told just to stand clear. And the referee laying down the law here to Cameron McKenzie. What did you see, Harry? Was there a lashing out of any sorts?
Well, I think Cameron, he was late, and I think referee Kelvin Berg is doing the right thing here.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
that's a 2, yeah.
Yeah, it's
got to be a card. I don't know if Berg has given one, but it certainly looking at it again. And
yeah, no card given, but certainly on second look there, he did leave his feet, shall we say, in diving in to make the challenge.
both feet as well.
It was only perhaps by good fortune rather than good management that De Vries escaped unscathed. It's willing, though. We said it would be. 2 teams from the Northern League that know each other well. Multiple clashes through the season. And this flick on will just be shepherded over the byline there by Brotherton. Mitchell. Part of the modern game, isn't it now, Harry, that the defending team normally has 2 or 3 in the penalty area here and looking to play it short, and Birkenhead are trying to, on the one hand, invite them into this so they can press and try and break them down like that.
Absolutely.
Auckland City are just not coping well with the press at the moment. McKenzie gets down to the byline, forces the corner, so Auckland City have got some work to do to pass their way through this.
Connor Tracy's obviously distribution at the moment. We saw the little hiccup after the first couple of minutes, but not sure why Adam Mitchell has passed to the keeper then to try and play a ball into midfield. You would have thought Tracy would have passed to Mitchell, and then for him to take the next step and try and find someone in midfield. Perhaps there was looking to play out on this right-hand side, you know, who knows, but another corner for Birkenhead.
Floated into a dangerous area, and Burfoot's shot was well covered and eventually well defended, albeit Birkenhead stay on attack with a throw. Certainly part of the Birkenhead game plan as we approach the half-hour mark is to get delivery into that penalty area. Throw to be taken here by Nicholas Forrester. Asking for a push was Illich, and the referee not obliging with a decision in his favour. Forrester, they're into the penalty area again, and that one not too far from the far post by Dane Schnell. So they started well. They've levelled off a little in their intensity, Birkenhead, but they're enjoying another couple of good minutes here.
Auckland City not for the first time in the last that kind of passage there, failing to get the ball clear. You just need someone to put their foot through it in those sort of areas when you're trying to play out. It's not, you know, it's not coming off. You're not being able to find a blue shirt. Just clear your lines, and there's no harm and no shame in doing that and then pushing your line up.
Awkward bounce, well dealt with by Brotherton, but only initially as far as Jorgensen. And this is where if Auckland City can break that line, they could be in on the counter here. Opportunity for Lee. Has De Vries in support, overlapping as Drake. He's ignored for now. Howison. And they just slow the pace of the counter-attack down, and Birkenhead have regrouped. Illich. Lee. Now Drake involved. Rolls a pass into the area for Howison, and well defended in the end. Had to be strong there, Corbin Piper. He heard the shout of his keeper, and he trusted that Roddick was going to get there and claim it. Roddick. Winning it initially was the Spaniard, Garriga. It does break down again. This is certainly not a performance we typically see from Auckland City. Lovely turn, ran into traffic though in the end, did Mackenzie, but Harry, they're often the team to dominate possession and certainly accuracy with passing, but we're beyond the half-hour mark. They've just really not settled.
I think most teams, when you and this is not a comparison as such, but teams when you know you like playing someone like Man City, or you're playing a team that loves to have that is going to have a great deal of possession. And I guess majority of teams understand Auckland City are going to have, they're going to have a lot of possession. They've got quality players in there to be able to play that type of game. But as we've seen with Birkenhead, if you put pressure on players early on, and you get 3 or 4 players in and around the ball and shut the space down, you shut the players down, it's very difficult to play out and play your natural game. Hence I was saying before, at times they need a Mitchell and Brotherton just need to clear their lines and get their defensive line up to halfway. We see, I think it was Piper again involved in a...
Ian Howison, and it was Piper who was adjudicated here to be the legal of the 2 players involved in the challenge. Howison has given up the free kick. Birkenhead sort of surrounded the referee, I think asking for a card, suggesting that how was that any different to the incident that saw Piper himself booked earlier on in the game. But he's up and okay, has that face guard, Corbin Piper, protecting some sort of a previous injury or concern, but that was, as we saw earlier with Reed Drake, that was what looked to be a bit of a blow to the ribcage area. So Piper watches from the sideline at the moment. He'll be back out there momentarily. Swung straight back in, straight to the near post, and comfortable one for Connor Tracy. Vale. They do have the ability to be very direct when they want to, Harry, don't they? And we talked about De Vries. I mean, he's not the worst target man in the world, but you can see the DNA of Auckland City. They want to play a particular brand of football, and they are persisting. And they're just the 1-0 down, but gee, they've put themselves in a couple of tough spots, haven't they?
Yeah, it's these sort of areas that they're finding very difficult to play their natural game and play through those lines of Birkenhead. You talk Ryan De Vries, he's had a couple of touches and great when balls over the top, and he's running onto the ball as well, but they just haven't been able to get that quality out of midfield to find his feet. And we saw a couple of occasions there earlier on in this first half, but it's been few and far between. From an Auckland City perspective, with getting ball into feet, getting second runners beyond De Vries.
Vale. Illich. Good pass out of a tight area. But They just cannot break through that midfield screen. Now they do. That's the critical pass and the layoff, but they can't control. Birkenhead just snuff out what looked to be a promising move from Auckland City. Very organised, very disciplined Birkenhead when they're out of possession. Open was the call for Howison. He chose to look for Gariga down the same channel. This time, Howison heeds those calls. Brotherton involved again. Tall centre back. Away by Bodica as far as Burfoot. Little head tennis game here in the middle of the park. Falls now for Lee. And far too much on that pass from De Vries. So 37 minutes played. And really, Silvio Roddick outside of the Cam Howison free kick and a couple of set pieces that have come in his direction has not been overly anxious in goal for Birkenhead. You talk about that depth that Albert Riera has, and the likes of Emiliano Tade, one of the very best goal scorers to play in the New Zealand National League, full stop. To have that sort of quality in the twilight, I guess, now of his career.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You do wonder how much of a role he might have to play in the second half, the Argentinian. Nice touch from Gillian to control a difficult pass, and now looks to go around Forrester, who stuck to his task, the fullback.
Yeah, they're a side that over the years have always had quality up front, haven't they, Auckland City? Even if it's Paul Earlevitt, if it's Grant Young, Kieran Jordan, you know, Roy Krishna, Ryan De Vries, obviously, and probably his, you know, a second stint back in New Zealand. They've always had quality up front, Auckland City.
Loose pass from Illich. Hughes was unable to control. Piper still willing with the challenges despite having picked up a yellow card. He wins that one from Gillian. Big physical presence is Corbin Piper, the number 17 for Birkenhead. Illich, intelligent little win of the ball, trying to set Joe Lee away, and he was just clipped enough for the free kick to go Auckland City's way. Auckland taking the chance here to settle and send the cliched tall timber forward. We saw Brotherton and Mitchell heading into the penalty area. No good if the free kick doesn't reach them. That's dangerous though, just bobbling about here. Birkenhead struggling to clear their lines initially. Now a little one-on-one football, an opportunity for Burfoot to switch of play. You could see the idea, and you could see Birkenhead again committed to flooding that attacking third with players, but the pass from Burfoot just a little too far advanced. Switch of play is good. Opens up an attacking channel here for Vale. He looks to a bit of a lone ranger initially in De Vries. And he had the composure to try and find a teammate with the header as Drake is clattered to the ground. So inside 5 minutes of half time, and Auckland City just having better moments. And Birkenhead putting themselves under a little pressure with some of these free kicks that they're giving away. Howison is the set piece expert. Far post, good ball played in. Opportunity just to try and head that back across goal. And there may well have been an open goal opportunity, but Mitchell just couldn't quite get that down.
Yeah, good delivery again from Howison. The delivery's been good on both sides this afternoon.
De Vries for Lee. Lee trying to wriggle his way through two defenders. And when the odds are stacked against you 2-1, you're often on the losing side of that little battle. Auckland City now through Drake. A little give and go down to the byline. Pulls it back to Vries. Eludes the big striker at the near post and then cleared away by Birkenhead.
That's better from Auckland City, getting in and around behind Birkenhead. They did have blue shirts in the box too.
That one is out for a corner. The defensive work by Bodica, but Auckland City looking to reverse the pressure of the early minutes that was applied by Birkenhead, and they're looking to just put the blowtorch on the home side here in the final few minutes of the first half. Less than 3 minutes of regulation time, and we're being told 3 minutes of time will be added on at the end of this first half. Howison, his delivery has largely been good. Illich might have done better with that. Looked to be a free header, and just in the end it was a glancing one. Joe Lee is all the way across here at right fullback. Brotherton. Both teams perhaps just had a chance to find their shape again after the corner. Gillian. De Vries. Birkenhead with plenty back here. Just cutting off some of the passing channels. Howison goes direct and the header just across the crossbar. And that's the threat from big Ryan De Vries. And Silvio Roddick was grateful to see that one just over the crossbar. Beautiful delivery.
Yeah, well, again, it was Howison onto De Vries. I mean, fantastic ball from Cam Howison. He just managed to find himself a yard or two away from his defender, Ryan De Vries. That's what he does so well. He pulls, he pulls away. He reads the flight of the ball. Yeah, quite often you get defenders just ball watching, and it's those as on that occasion you sort of ghost in behind them, and on that occasion he just wasn't able to get his header under the bar.
Just looked, in fact, on second glance that it may well have landed down on top of the crossbar. I initially thought it landed on the roof of the net as Lee forces another corner, so Birkenhead have to be very alert. We've seen how dangerous Howison is from these opportunities to deliver from set-piece play. Looking to maintain their advantage into the half-time break, Birkenhead. Howison to similar delivery, doesn't reach Illich on that occasion. Lee tries one, and that had Roddick diving at full stretch. And I think Cam Howison thought he was offside there and really didn't want to get involved in the play. It might have been better to do so. Good challenge, Garriga. As we head into that 3 minutes minimum of time added on. Nicely played, very tight on the touchline. Woods with room to turn. Hughes. Birkenhead, a little less urgency now, appreciating But perhaps they're content to wind the clock down and get into the sheds and hear from Paul Hobson with a 1-0 lead. Schnell couldn't keep that in play, clearly crossing the sideline. Auckland City playing their way across midfield, and Drake with a yard or two only to advance into. Continues his run, Reed Drake, and is dragged down. So already we've seen the danger of Cam Howison from almost an identical spot here. So he'll ask questions here of Silvio Roddick. He'll allow Brotherton and Mitchell the chance to get forward, but Reed Drake is asking some questions down that left wing side.
Yeah, after that injury scare early on in the SAF, it's been probably the most effective out wide for Auckland City.
Howison floats it too close to the keeper, and probably the most disappointing delivery. And he's been dangerous at times, Cam Howison, but that one turned it into a no contest as far as the Birkenhead keeper is concerned. Good strong challenge again from Piper.
Again, I think the decision making at times from Birkenhead, they're reading the game extremely well. That Roddick with that goal kick, he's looking at playing it out. He wanted to clear his lines.
Another yellow card here for Dino Bodica. So it's his second yellow of the season, Bodica. And discipline, you feel, may well be crucial in the second half. They have been the team more likely, as we see there. It was just late on De Vries, just left a foot there and let the striker know.
Well, it is unfortunate. They're going to have to, 45 minutes now. You've got two of your key players in Corbin Piper and Bodica in the middle, all both on a yellow.
Too close to the keeper, and that is half time. So a 45 minutes of football that started with a hiss and a roar from Birkenhead United. They had 2 or 3 chances in the first 3 or 4 minutes, and they took one through Sam Burfoot, who scored, if you like, on the rebound after Luke Jorgensen's effort rebounded off the post. Auckland City have started to edge their way into the match, especially at set-piece time, but they couldn't find a goal to level things up here at Shepherds Park. It is Birkenhead United 1, Auckland City 0 at half-time.
Addison, wayward pass, Hirano intercepts that on that occasion. Garcia, Hirano now, one-on-one. Here's Hirano. Oh, great footwork. And it's in. It is a goal from Hirano. Well, thought that one may get away from her, but she did choose to find the back of the net on that occasion. Lena Hirano. A bit of pressure playing off for Western Springs.
And here is card 8 with Howison sweeping forward. This is looking likely here for Auckland City. Howison early ball in, and there is the goal, beautifully done. Ryan De Vries opens the scoring. Superb combinations from the attacking trio. It only takes one moment of brilliance and everything can change again. And this is looking better. Nice little play here. This is beautiful from Birkenhead. And just as I talk, up the Miramar Rangers defence, Birkenhead United break it down, and Alex Connor McLean has got Birkenhead United's second goal, and it was a cracker.
Good pressure too from Jackson. Here she is again. The second chance, and it's a goal. Suburbs have struck straight back. against Northern Rovers this afternoon, Devin Jackson.
Gully onto the right foot. Beautiful pass. Jack Henry Sinclair's onside.
Nice goal.
That's a brilliant finish by Jack Henry Sinclair. One of the most exciting players in the National League Championship. And Wellington Olympic doubled the lead.
And that is tough to keep doing that. That's why it's so important to score when you get those chances.
And there is the goal at the other end of the pitch, and it's Adam Mitchell. What a last and dramatic 5 minutes we have just seen here at Kiwitea Street. Adam Mitchell shrugging free of his marker.
Suburbs can settle again. Yoshida again opens her body up so well. Allows her to play that one first time. A shot from Yoshida, and it's a goal. Michaela Foster could not get that to that one. And Saki Yoshida, the third goal for Eastern Suburbs this afternoon. Well worked goal from Yoshida.
Not let it rattle in, and here's a chance for them made it ice it. Great ball, and they have iced it. Well, the visitors are going to steal the win here. Dane Schnell has got the fourth goal, and it was a beauty as well.
Gould goes forward, and now it's Randall with an opportunity to redeem himself. And oh, it's off the underside of the bar. Now Bazookas scores. And it's 3-0 to Wellington Olympic. And just a moment ago, where Bazookas was shaking his head in disappointment, he's now congratulating Randall. And Wellington Olympic in total control at Gower Park.
Devin Jackson again, what can she do to put a nail in the coffin? Surely.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
There it is. Devin Jackson, hat trick for Eastern Suburbs. What a performance she has had today. Goal scoring, setting up all over the pitch.
Now Gould. All Melville players taken away. Now Jack Henry Sinclair. Away down the right hand side, Bazookas unmarked, and that is 4-0. Beautiful goal by Wellington Olympic. Jack Henry Sinclair, chief provider, and Gianni Bazookas with a lovely finish. Dylan Hobson with the corner kick. Flipped into the near post, and it's won by Birkenhead, and it's in the back of the net. It's Dino Bonica. The home side sees the initiative just before the hour mark, to the delight of the Shepherds Park crowd.
One-on-one with Ulavili, does well. And on target, what a strike. Petra Buick. Fantastic strike. What a run from the substitute. Thoroughly deserved too. She's been quite the star for Canterbury since she's been on, trying to force things. What a fantastic strike by her.
There's a chance now for the Springs on the break, and this could well be the first goal of the game. There's no flag here, and the goal is tucked away by the American Sofia Garcia. And out of nothing, just as I was saying, Harry, that they really weren't firing too many shots, Southern will be very disappointed at how easily they let Garcia in around the back. Wonderful pass. Almost opened things up. First goal of the game. This might be another chance. Canham again shoots a little weakly. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, it's almost going to script that after all the great chances, it's a scuffed shot that bounces awfully for Jessie Barnard, who doesn't adjust. And the opening goal of the game goes not unexpectedly to Danielle Canham, but certainly in a most unexpected fashion. Guy will win the race here with Woolley. More confusion though. Southern with a chance now to get back in the match, and they have. Diaz. Well, you talk about Southern gifting chances for Western Springs. That is absolutely handed on a plate. Real confusion. Western Springs at the heart of their defence. And Margarita Diaz does not need a second invite. Well, they've been gifted possession here, Colby. This comes in towards the far post, and in fact it's in the back of the net. Well, that is surprising in the sense that Southern looked as though that was completely under control. But all they've done is stand and watch Sophia Garcia grab her second goal. It's poor defending by Southern. Garcia is gleeful in accepting the header at the far post.
Nicely done by Joe Poole, and Raboka has managed to find his way past one opponent. Got Wilkinson just to his left, who's lined up the shot. Oh, that's a fine finish! What a goal by Eddie Wilkinson. Set up by Raboka. Christchurch back in business.
Hectic. If they do. That Buick. With her left foot.
Yep. Ball.
Oh, lovely
Oh,
ball.
it's
And it's in!
It is in!
And they're racing the ball back to halfway. They've got 2 minutes.
Well, Angelique Tuisoma has dealt with everything that crosses, shots, and that one she just couldn't keep out. What a ball from Buick.
Well, she's made a great impact coming on, hasn't she?
It's pretty calm on the ball. Oh, lovely turn. That's beautiful from Painenberg. Can she release the pass? She does to Colby. Best football of the match so far. To the edge of the penalty area, and that is the best goal of the match, and that is superb. Taparu with the finish, but beautifully crafted, and it all started with Emma Painenberg. What a turn in midfield, and releasing Colby, and again she found a teammate with the cross. Confirmation of the halftime score here, 1-0 for Birkenhead over Auckland City. The other matches at 3 o'clock, Napier City Rovers playing Miramar Rangers, and the match that follows this from Keith Hay Park, Auckland United up against Christchurch United, with Christchurch looking to get their campaign underway. And also coming up, Phoenix Reserves against Melville, and Cashmere Technical up against Wellington Olympic, that one at English Park in Christchurch. Those matches being played on Sunday. There is the points table. This is top of the table stuff between Birkenhead and Auckland. Christchurch have got that 1 point from their 2 games. Melville and Miramar struggling through the opening 2 games. Any surprises for you, Harry Nata, in that points table after just 2 games?
It's early days, isn't it, at the moment? But yeah, Miramar Rangers, you know, they're the ones that are probably
traditional powerhouse,
absolutely, aren't they? That unfamiliar territory at the moment for, again, only 2 games played so far, so still a wee way to go. But yeah, unfamiliar territory for the Wellington club.
So this is the first of a double header this afternoon, with both matches being played in the Auckland region. And Auckland United will kick off against Christchurch United, Paul Eiffel's team. So Auckland United looking to continue their very good start to their campaign. As we confirm also leading goal scorers in the Women's National League. And Taylor O'Brien just scoring goals for fun. Goodness me. 8 goals already in the campaign. And not far behind his teammate Devon Jackson, both Eastern Suburbs players, but Taylor starting the campaign, of course, with 4 in the opening match. And plenty of players will be happy with their goal-scoring form, right down to Liana Ryan and Petra Buick with 3 goals. So, talking the National Women's League, round 5 action, Eastern Suburbs, Taylor looking to add to her goals in that one against Southern United. That one is on Sunday at 1 o'clock, live on Sky Sport Next, as we continue our coverage of both men's and women's National League championships. So plenty of great action still to come. And we've got a second half here with Auckland City looking to try and recover from the 1-0 deficit as we see the goal. Jorgensen with the initial shot, and Burfoot was quickest here.
Yeah, quickest, and the technique as well. Andrew, we saw the shot from Redfern. It was all pressure for Birkenhead in the opening sort of 10 or 15 minutes. There with the aggressor, more intensity, more energy. And they were closing Auckland City down all over the park. Cam Harrison, this was probably the most clear-cut chance, if you can call it that, from Auckland City in the first half. There has been some moments, Ryan De Vries just heading over the bar there, but for the chances for Auckland City, most of their threats coming from, set pieces in the first half.
So Birkenhead with that goal from Sam Burfoot, leading this one at half-time. Birkenhead's out there and ready. Auckland's looking to do likewise. Is it too early to turn to the bench if you're Albert Riera, Harry? Or often coaches like to let things settle perhaps for the first 5 minutes or so of a second half, but he's certainly got some firepower there, hasn't he, if required?
Yeah, look, I can't see him going to the bench, in the first sort of 5, depending on the score. Obviously, if Birkenhead go again and get one inside the first 5 or 6, 10 minutes even, yeah, you could possibly see some changes from Riera. But he certainly has got some depth to call, and as we talked about at the top, Andrew, a number of familiar names there on the subs bench that he can call upon.
Well, for me, Howison is crucial. He started to exert a little authority, especially at set-piece time, but they've got to get him involved in those passing movements. They've got to win the physical battle in midfield, and at times you feel that Corbin Piper's been leading Birkenhead in that regard. He's got to play with a little added caution, given that he has been cautioned, Corbin Piper. But Auckland have got to start winning those little battles, don't they, Harry, if they're going to win the war?
Yeah, he talked about Corbin Piper with the yellow. Also, Dino Bodica got a yellow towards the end of the first half there. So there's 2 pressure points that Auckland City can certainly try and take advantage of.
And that is ruled to be a little too physical from Adam Mitchell. He feels that he won possession. But referee Calvin Berg suggested a little too vigorous in the challenge. I'll tell you what, it's a well-worn patch of turf. I reckon Cam Howison's had 2 or 3 free kicks from this spot of the ground here. So Birkenhead's chance now to see if they can wreak a little havoc. Dylan Hobson over the ball. Unlike Howison, it'll be the right foot, so always in swinging perhaps towards that far post. Chip towards the far post area. Birkenhead crashing in there. Players go down. Shots from Jorgensen. He just concentrated on keeping it down, and if anything, just hit that straight down into the turf. And meanwhile, an Auckland City player has stayed down, so the referee rightly just looking to get some attention. Jordan Vale, who just looks like he might be momentarily a little dazed. He says, I'm okay. But that was handy, wasn't it, from Birkenhead? It's a good delivery from Hobson and created a 50-50 chance there at the far post.
Yeah, the delivery's been good from both sides up to now. I mean, there's been a couple of wayward set pieces, but generally speaking, delivery from set pieces and from balls out wide, particularly from Birkenhead in the first sort of 10 or 15 minutes, was very effective.
Auckland City through Cam Howison doing the right thing, sportsmanlike thing, and just gifting possession back to Birkenhead, who attacked down the left wing side, but in the way is Vale. Looks to have recovered and is part of a team effort there to make the challenge, and then clear their lines. Not effectively in the end, though, by Gillian. And mistakes from both teams. A little scrappy there momentarily. Well, we've discussed briefly Auckland City and the options open to them. What about Paul Hobson with Birkenhead? Anything that you think Paul Hobson might be looking to change, whether it's tactically or with personnel? As Auckland now with a real chance here. Through midfield comes Reid Drake. He shoots on goal when perhaps the better option might have been looking for Ryan De Vries. But that's one of the more clear-cut opportunities for Auckland City on the break.
Yeah, rare occasion, isn't it, with a lot of room to run into, and it really was a tepid effort from Reid Drake. 2 players on making runs into the box at the far post there as well.
Birkenhead their turn in the penalty area. That shot was on target. And throwing his head to the heavens was Curtis Hughes, because the lunging challenge from a combination of Brotherton and Mitchell was required there. So end-to-end stuff in the opening 4 minutes of the second half.
Birkenhead getting straight back here. Great ball from Dane Schnell. Curtis Hughes, again, making those overlapping runs. Both him on one side, Cameron McKenzie on the other side in the first half, where did have Warrie Vale and Reid Drake on a couple of occasions.
Half volley chance, and they've got a second here. The final touch might be the crucial one, and it looks to be Nicholas Forrester who has steered this home. And can you believe it? 4th minute in the first half, 4th minute in the second half, and Birkenhead double their advantage.
Again, set pieces, we talked about how crucial these have been this afternoon in terms of the delivery. And there's a final touch there from Nick Forrester. Again, all the pressure from Birkenhead as well. Good delivery. Auckland City unable to deal with the cross.
Nicholas Forrester with the easiest goal that he will likely score in his National League career. But right place, right time. Of more concern to Auckland City might be the space that was afforded Birkenhead at the far post, as that's easily dealt with by Roddick. I think, was it Burfoot, Harry, with the shot that turned into a pretty handy cross, and he had all the time in the world, didn't he? Inside the penalty area, wasn't picked up at the far post as he just curled away. And ultimately Auckland City pay the ultimate price. And let's see if that does see movement on the Auckland City bench.
Yeah, I think someone like Angus Kilcolly or Emiliano Tade, one of the 2 likely candidates that our Barriera would look to.
And that probably answers the question for you, Harry. We never quite got there, did we? No. But in terms of Paul Hobson, he certainly doesn't need to change anything now. And equally, you don't like to see teams sitting too early. I mean, there's a long way to go in this match, isn't there? Far too early for Birkenhead to sit on a 2-0 lead. Lee, nice mazy run, and ran into just one defender too many in the end. De Vries. Auckland City need to respond. It's a lovely touch from Garriga. Lee, well smothered. The keeper out there quickly, Roddick, and had to be alert. But Auckland are showing that they may be able to just up the tempo a little.
Yeah, he's looked competent tonight, Roddick, this afternoon, particularly from crosses. Again, his overall game there and that cross, he's made the decision to come out. Really been solid at the back this afternoon for Birkenhead.
Looking to switch, but the pass just played in behind the attacking player. this early stage of the National League Championship campaign, of course, it's far from terminal, far from disastrous. But it's Auckland City we're talking about, and as Garriga now creates a little space down the right wing side, chooses to deliver towards the far post. De Vries hadn't really got involved. Howison, good technique, well covered though by Birkenhead defenders. And Auckland City, well, they simply have to respond. We know that they're well capable, but what can they do to change the momentum, change the tempo? They could do well to involve Howison more often than not. Drake. There is Howison. And Drake unable to find his skipper. De Vries. Good strong play. And shot from distance. Didn't have power to trouble Roddick, even had it made its way through the penalty area, which it didn't. Drake cutting across onto his weaker right foot, and Birkenhead just soaking up a little pressure, and Jorgensen with a stray arm here. Jorgensen could be in big trouble here, Harry. The referee has seen this, and at the moment the adjudication is free kick, but is there more to come?
Well, let's have a look at this. Well,
it's an open palm, isn't it?
Palm.
But it's still a raised arm, and Jorgensen puts himself at the mercy of the referee, who decides the free kick is all that's required.
Yeah, unintentional, right? Is that natural running movement, getting his arms going. He's got acres of space in front of him to try and exploit. Yeah, I thought it might have been pretty harsh if Jorgensen found himself with a red card for that type of conduct.
It's almost a dollar each way, if you like. Lee for Drake, little back heel for Lee, and it's cleared away. Because if the referee's deemed it's a free kick, you do get concerned, don't you, that if he's decided there's enough there for a free kick, then how has he interpreted it? Remember, the referee just gets one look at it. Howison forces the corner, does the Auckland City skipper, much to the disappointments of Birkenhead. Howison grimaces there. He's felt that one, I think, on the left ankle. And this is often looked like the best avenue to goal for Auckland City. Set piece time. Referees had a word with a few players, and now we get things back underway. Flick on at the near post, always dangerous. Trying to just reach around there was Adam Mitchell, couldn't get any purchase on the shot. But free kick here, as there's a little clipping of the heels. This time Joe Lee is the player to go down. And we're starting to see some movement from the bench. And we may well have the first change, and it's Mario Illich who makes way. And replaced by Aidan Carey. So it's not Tade, it's not Kilcolly, it's Aidan Carey. And Birkenhead respond. Paul Hobson makes a change, and it's Curtis Hughes who departs. And he is replaced by Alex Connor McLean. So, if anything, Auckland City just have to be even on guard a little more, because Connor McLean is a player who has an eye for goal. Free kick comes to nothing. I'm starting to talk about, Harry, that Auckland City often in these situations become a victim of their own success, because this will be seen as disastrous. This will be seen as catastrophic that they're losing a game 2-0. It's round 3 of the National League against a very good Birkenhead team. But such has been their success over so many years that they're judged by those high standards, aren't they?
There's certainly a level of expectation around, generally around National League football when you're talking Auckland City or Central United. No, they are a club steeped in heritage and, trophy-laden cabinet as well. So they certainly know how to win games, win trophies, win competitions. They've certainly been in this position before. I wouldn't say not too often, but, when they've been, at the moment, what are we now, 50, nearly 60 minutes, have been, largely outplayed by Birkenhead in all aspects of the game. Birkenhead, more energy, more intensity, some more clear-cut chances. They haven't really let Auckland City get into any sort of rhythm. Auckland City have been, their better chances have actually fallen through, come to them via free kicks and set pieces through Cam Howison.
Howison. The challenge comes from, I think that was Connor McLean, the sub. Burfoot always close to the action, right in the thick of it. De Vries just allowing that one to bounce a little too high and invited the challenge. Conditions have been pretty good. A couple of dark clouds just looming a little ominously in the background over Shepherd's Park, but this one's been played in pretty good spring conditions, not quite summer temperatures. It's pretty good comfort levels for the players. Auckland turned that one over cheaply. Hobson, as in Dylan, the player, not Paul, the coach, taking the throw. It's a really good work by the Birkenhead number 9, Dane Schnell. Midfielders and defenders just love that in a central striker, battling back into midfield, winning possession, winning a free kick. Half an hour to play at Shepherd's Park, and it's Birkenhead, the home side, in control. And that should be, well, in control by Connor Tracy, and it is. We're into that time of the match, and with a 2-0 scoreline, that always find it fascinating that the temptation for Birkenhead as the team in front is to sit a little, play a little deeper, just let's keep what we've got. Whereas for Auckland City, it's desperation as Lee attacks and has support from De Vries. He might get this and just nip past the defender. He can't. Great challenge to the delights of the home fans. Nicholas Forrester, the goal scorer. But when you're seeing that momentum and the approach of the two teams, Harry, a goal for the team that's 2-0 down can really flip the game on its head, because it's hard to switch that momentum again as Gillian is replaced by Kilcolly. But your thoughts on that? It's always fascinating, isn't it, with half an hour to go?
A lot's been said about that 2-0 position, right? When you're 2 goals in front, it's either, one goal gets you back into the game. A third goal from Birkenhead would certainly make it very difficult for Auckland City with all their quality. But, at the moment now, it's how does Riera, introduce the subs, and how can he affect change in this game this afternoon, because they are, been clearly have been matched in most cases, outplayed by Birkenhead.
Schnell tried to measure the pass and in the end just measured it behind the run of his teammate. Yeah, it's just so natural. And we're seeing it even now that Birkenhead are not pressing quite as high as they were early in the match. It's just natural. You're 2-0 up.
Yep.
Players will instinctively take less risks going forward. But if Auckland City can be the next to score, as Howison gets into the area, great touch from Cam Howison, and had support there too. That would have been quite a remarkable arrival for Kilcolly had Howison been able to clip that crossover.
Yeah, they defended extremely well this afternoon, particularly their central pairing. We see Dino Bodika just doing enough to force Cam Howison wide and on his, on his weaker right foot, or his unfavoured right foot, say his weak right foot, but it clearly favours his left. But yeah, they've defended well. Dylan Hobson is in Forrester.
Flicked on at the near post. That was an important intervention. Lee hooks it back in again, and catching that right under his own crossbar is Silvio Roddick.
I was going to say the likes of Hobson on one side, Woods on the other. They've tucked in well, and they've made the back three into a back four at times. So they have complemented each other across the back line. When one side's going forward, the other, the other side is tucking in and making it three at the back. As we see another great cross from Birkenhead,
and a collision here, Harry, that's left Connor Tracy down, and is it Cameron McKenzie?
Again, Dane Schnell. I mean, he's getting himself into some good positions too. Smart player, Dane Schnell. We've seen, he's combative and he can do that type of it. But he gets himself in some really good positions.
So we've seen a couple of interventions from the physios from both camps. It's thankfully nothing that appears to be too serious so far this afternoon. Just nothing that an ice bath or a compression bandage for a couple of days during the week won't fix, we hope. Jordan Vale, the frustration starting to show. You can often see which team's 2-0 down. If we took the graphics away, Harry, and we told people, pick the team that's 2-0 down, it's often the team that's talking to the referee. Howison, clever. Clever again from Drake. Beautiful cross as well. That's lovely from Auckland City.
Yeah, it's quality from Cam Howison, isn't it? Just the way he used his skill and guile to get into a position there.
Schnell marshalled here for the moment by Mitchell. Brotherton there in support defensively. Birkenhead's finding Burfoot, and he switches out on the left wing side now. A third goal surely would seal the deal for the home side. Bodika. Hobson into midfield to the masked Corbin Piper. Auckland can't get it clear, and a little snapshot. Jorgensen again. And now De Vries playing very deep. Howison. De Vries sets off on a run now down this left wing side. Really hasn't had a great deal of room, not been afforded that level of luxury by Birkenheads. And oh, that one just going wide off a defender. Well, for the first time in the match, Silvio Roddick looked a little all at sea here. How does De Vries get this cross?
Yeah, three players around him, Ryan De Vries. He got that cross, eluded Roddick. And thankfully, Nick Forrester was there just to clear the danger.
Well, that was almost as close as the tap-in goal that he scored. This, though, was just a tap behind to concede the corner. What's the referee asking for here? An injured player, I think, is being told to leave the field. Cam Howison is getting some treatment, so he's not taking this corner. It's still a handy delivery. Was that punch clear by the keeper? That was very dangerous for Birkenhead, but they survive.
Yeah, I think it was a mitt from Roddick in goal to clear that one. Again, good delivery.
Just
Sam
looked like
Brotherton with the header.
Might have got a left hand just to punch that one away, very low. Throw for Birkenhead. Good support from the local community. Birkenhead certainly, as was mentioned early on in our coverage, building quite the reputation on the North Shore, and a couple of Chatham Cups, and Paul Hobson and others involved in the club. So many working behind the scenes, of course, and I've enjoyed a level of consistency from the players. It's always crucial, isn't it, Harry, if you can roll out a core group for 4 or 5 seasons and add the finishing touches each campaign and bring in some fresh talent. Auckland City with a free kick to clear their lines, but they're genuinely, aren't they, a powerhouse in Northern League football.
When you talk about the talent, you know, Bill Tuiloma obviously, and just recently Alex Grieve came out of Birkenhead United as well. So at the moment, as you talked about consistency, right? Paul Hobson's been there for a number of years now. And you see the success of the club, whether it's, you know, on and off the park. You look at the number of people there, and that's just on one side. Obviously some construction going on behind the goal to your left-hand side as well. So certainly a lot of investment into Birkenhead, as we see Cameron McKenzie getting a rest.
Yeah, from 20 to 2. So just the dropping of the 0, but a change of personnel, as I think one of the better names going around in football in this part of the world. It's not a bad football name, is it? Everton O'Leary. So perhaps more of a holding role. McKenzie was playing reasonably high alongside Schnell and Curtis, and we've seen Curtis Hughes make way, Connor McLean replacing him, but I wonder, Harry, and you keep an eye on it, I wonder whether they change shape, maybe go to a more traditional 4-4-2. And
well, we called the game, the first game, Birkenhead against Christchurch United in round 1, and Everton O'Leary was one of the standouts for me. More of a can play that wing back role, but again, like we've seen in most of the, I guess the tactical and technical display of a lot of these players, you know, that aggressive nature, good technique. They've good discipline. They hold their shape well. You know, and Everton O'Leary is certainly one player who loves to operate up and down, out wide. He's got a lot of pace, and perhaps is the, you know, I guess the foil for someone like Dane Schnell, who's been so effective this afternoon.
The man we're talking about, O'Leary, takes the throw. And let's just put that one down to not quite being settled into the rhythm of the game. Might have caught a bit of shin pad on the attempted cross. You'll struggle to find 2 technically better players when you see Cam Howison and Reed Drake operating down the left side of the park for Auckland City. As free kick given away in midfields. And the Spaniards, Gerard Garriga, just clipped on the halfway line. And Auckland City in a spot of bother here, as this might open up Kilcolly. Howison can't find room for the shot. De Vries, great save. We may not know much about this, but Silvio Roddick has made himself big and blocked that at point-blank range.
Well, I think you're right there, Andrew. I don't think he knew much about that one. He hit him straight in the mush.
And
I think he's going to get some.
the referee's going to make
treatment.
sure he is okay. But whether by instinct or conscious movement here, great pass for starters from Howison, but the key there for Roddick is that he stays big, doesn't he, Harry?
Does.
Doesn't go to ground.
Comes off his line, makes himself big. I mean, any part of the body will do when you're a goalkeeper in that sort of situation. Snapshot from Ryan de Vries. Looks like he's got one just in the top of the chest or the throat.
Yeah, and that
the neck
would be scary. So the referee rightly calling a halt. And that would be frightening, wouldn't it, just initially? Perhaps a little gasp or two for breath, and just needed the calming words and advice in just a moment or two. Silvio Roddick, who has been largely impressive. One or two moments when he might have come off his line, perhaps, but he's looked to be a pretty imposing character for Birkenhead.
I think it's just synonymous with the way, you know, Birkenhead have played, particularly at the back. You know, well organised, they're tight. You know, they're aggressive when they need to be. You know, that helps when you've got someone like Corbin Piper just sort of in that number 6 role, allows Sam Burfoot to get forward and link up with Schnell and make a nuisance of themselves.
Chance here at the far post, well defended, and there's a little late challenge, and I think it is that man O'Leary who was alert to the danger. And that's a great fullback's header, if you like, not staying out of the game, very alert and almost making an attacking run to the far post.
When you're that wide defender, you can actually, and the ball's on the opposite side in those sort of areas, you know, you've got, if you were looking along the line, you can see where your player is. It's just about how you obviously manage your body position, right? You don't get caught ball watching, you open your body up, you know where the defender is behind you, you can attack the ball if it's in front of you.
Turned over here by Howison, and he points at the football, but I think he's got a fair bit of Schnell here as well. And I think Cam Howison might know that A, the whistle was going to blow, and B, that it's red. Well, I did not expect to see red. And clearly by the reaction of the Auckland City players, neither did they. And we need calm heads here all around. Schnell initially is up and okay. Now let's have another look. Is there studs on the shin here?
Oh, there is studs on the shin there, isn't there? He's led with his left foot, hasn't he, Cam Harrison? It's off the ground. I don't think it's a malicious challenge in any way, but it's a late challenge. Referee was there. I mean, he obviously may have had some influence from his assistant on that side as well.
Well, Emiliano Tade's got out there as well, Harry, and he immediately takes the captain's armband. So the Argentinian has been subbed on during one of these little injury breaks, but this is not for an injury, this is for a red card. So Cam Howison, and showing good composure here. There's no theatrics, there's no history on it from Howison. He's largely accepting of his fate, albeit I think he may feel that perhaps it was a little harsh, but there is no question that there were studs on the shin, high on the ankle. And the referee was in close proximity, and Howison cops his red card, and Birkenhead with a chance to get a third, but can't direct the header on goal. By the letter of the law, Harry?
Yeah, you can see why Calvin Berg has made the decision, but again, for Auckland City, has it been their day? Has it really? I mean, and arguably it's been probably their better player on the day. You know, Reid Drake and Howison have probably been the two most effective for them when they have looked threatening.
So another change being made here, and at 2-0 down with 13 minutes to play and a man down. You would certainly think the odds that were already very much against Auckland City are now stacked against them. as Burfoot is removed, the skipper, and he's replaced by Chase Taylor. So I'll ask you to put your coach's hat on again, Harry, because does that now change the approach from Hobson? Can Birkenhead now afford to sit?
Well, as a player, you do fall into that mindset as well, don't you? You're 2-0 up, they're down to 10 men. Do you relax? You naturally, the instinct is to, but I think with the way, Birkenhead have played this afternoon, I can't see them kind of trying to release any pressure on Auckland City at the moment. They'll continue to play the way they have done over the course of 76 minutes.
Auckland City not out of it yet. There is high quality football DNA coursing through the veins of these Auckland City players, and they will not know a lost cause.
It's a good test for the Birkenhead players actually, because you don't want to lose any discipline. You want to maintain that pressure. You want to go for that third goal, because it is a crosstown rival, right? And they are a very good side, Auckland City, but they just haven't been able to play this afternoon their natural game, and you have to give credit to Paul Hobson and the way Birkenhead have come out and played this afternoon.
Well, I think how dangerous is this? I'm going to read something into that 3 seconds that I just saw. Birkenhead did not look interested in getting players forward when they won possession. So Burfoot's been replaced, whether that's injury but maybe that's a part of the message that's come from the bench as well in the substitution. All the way through to Connor Tracy. Auckland City can still frighten Birkenhead, and Tade is not a bad man to have on for the final 10 minutes or so. That one will go over the byline, goal kick.
Yeah, I think that's been the course of the game for Auckland City this afternoon, trying to get runners in behind, and Birkenhead have been disciplined enough to stay with their runner, put pressure on the ball when they need to.
10 minutes to play. Birkenhead looking odds on here to maintain their 100% start to the campaign. What they haven't had yet, Harry, is a clean sheet. 4-2 over Miramar, 3-1 over Christchurch. So maybe that's the little focus here for Birkenhead. More than a little focus, isn't it? Because if you keep a clean sheet, you guarantee the points here. They could get a third goal. That would surely guarantee it. So Jorgensen just couldn't get the ball out in front of him. And this is where Auckland will be dangerous on the counter. It's almost where they have to be dangerous, because they're going to struggle to build slow pressure. They've got a free kick here.
Yeah, look, Jerry, you're right? You get your 9 minutes plus stoppages to go. You get one goal back, and it sort of changes the complexion of the game, even though you're down to 10 men, doesn't it? You get confidence lifts. Obviously, there's some doubt that starts to set in from a Birkenhead perspective. I don't think, I think they've been well disciplined and well drilled this afternoon, Birkenhead.
It's not the delivery they were hoping for. They get a second chance, albeit it's very central, so they do go wide on the angle, trying to create something. Brotherton, and they scored. Well, there is the lifeline back into the game, and there goes any hopes of a clean sheet for Birkenhead. And really now, 2-1 down, 8 minutes to go. I almost think the numerical advantage counts for nothing here for Birkenhead.
Absolutely. Let me just talked a few seconds ago around if there's a goal back in here for Auckland City, it certainly changes the complexion, because it does give them a lift of confidence. It does put some doubts into Birkenhead's mind. Yes, it's a great free kick as well.
It's a lovely finish.
Lovely finish too from Sam Brotherton.
He really caught that perfectly on the half volley. And so we are going to see that fascinating change, the momentum, even with the sending off of Cam Howison. the momentum, you just feel like it's with the team 2-0 down because they have to press. And now suddenly Birkenhead get a little nervy and Auckland have nothing to lose. They will throw everything at this final 8 minutes or so.
Yeah, I just think Birkenhead just have to keep their discipline and use their numerical advantage.
Oh, a little header there from Mitchell was an important one. It's come at the expense of a corner.
Because it's going to be Auckland City going to be chasing, well, they have been chasing the game, haven't they, for the majority, 2-0 down up until this point in time. A couple of changes, Tade's on. He's not a bad player to have on in the dying stages of a game to try and find a goal. But it's now down to how Birkenhead manage this for the next sort of 8-9 minutes.
Yeah, there will be some time added on. We've had the sending off. We've had a couple of injury concerns for, on one occasion, Silvio Roddick, the Birkenhead keeper. Can they respond immediately? Punched away by Tracy. Gee, that's good goalkeeping. Good, strong punch. Well clear of the penalty area. Drake has lost his partner in crime down this left wing side, and Cam Howison closed down quickly. Substitute, as you would hope. Connor McLean, full of running. Drake with the switch. That's great vision and great execution. Totally changes the focus of the attack. Tade. Back to Drake. Initial dummy on the cross, and the second attempt blocked. Brotherton, the goal scorer. That's handy towards the far post, and Kilcolly getting involved. Nervous moments these for Birkenhead. Kilcolly, it's still there for Auckland City, and then, in fact, the free kick goes the way of Birkenhead. I must admit, I thought there was a chance it may have gone the other way.
Oh, chance for Birkenhead too. Now, just to settle some nerves, I'm sure Roddick will take a bit more time than usual. Taking this one, get his players pushed up. You see, no playing short from now. And I think they'll get try and get Auckland City turned, running towards their own goal. Players in. Great flick on as well.
Vale gets back, composed touch. Then Garriga also back to Tracy. Jorgensen thought about it, tried one, and drew the best out of Connor Tracy. That was instinctive from Luke Jorgensen. Just turns and the blink of an eye had a shot on goal. And so Auckland City have a free kick. Kilcolly asked the question and the response was affirmative from Kelvin Berg. And Emi Tade might fancy this, Harry.
Oh, absolutely. Well within his distance. I think Howison's the obvious one, but he's obviously not on the park at the moment.
Not a bad backup though, is he, Tade?
Pretty good.
Scored plenty of these over his career. And the challenge here for Roddick is which side does he cover? It looks like the wall is set up to Roddick's right post. Lee also. So the left and right foot threat over the ball. My money would be on Tade. He's got the captain's armband on. Let's see if he pulls rank. Step over. Tade around the wall. Great save. Brilliant football. Tade, you just sensed, had something special, but the response from Roddick was up to the task.
Yeah, well hit, well executed free kick from Tade. You picked it earlier on, Andrew. What side was he going to cover? The wall was covering that near side, as any good keeper does. You know, just watching that vacant side to the left. In the end, he did it quite comfortably, but well, great free kick from Tade.
Swung in, dangerous. Birkenhead are just hanging on here, and it's bouncing in the area and just goes wide. And Roddick is in the wars again, and not for the first time this half. Will seek treatment there are players scattered everywhere like 9 pins here.
Again, it was a great delivery. Had a Mitchell in there as well on 2 occasions. Kilcolly and Roddick looks like they collided at the far post.
Roddick up and not receiving any attention. Looked like he might have just jammed the lower back. Kilcolly's up and okay. And Boddicker will have to head to the sideline to continue receiving some attention. Well, a game that Birkenhead looked to be, if not in cruise control, they were certainly in control. But the goal from Brotherton, following the sending off of his captain, has really turned this on its head. And we've had a helter-skelter 6 or 7 minutes. And remember, Auckland City, with Howison sent off, they are at a numerical disadvantage, but it really is counting for little. And we're seeing some of their best passing of the match until that was turned over. Piper. O'Leary. And Connor McLean can't wrap his foot around that and get it on target.
Sure you wouldn't want to see that one again. Alex Connor McLean, he had a bit of time on an angle. Just lashed at that one, didn't he?
They haven't got De Vries as the target. Tade, though, into the area. It was at an awkward height, wasn't it? He tried to nod that into his own stride, and Birkenhead, at the moment, you have to say, they're surviving and not much more. Drake. And a chance, just getting there in time as Roddick. How predictable was this fight back from Auckland
Well, you know,
City?
as soon as they get a goal back, the tide certainly has been turning, hasn't it, since that goal? You get a sense of a lift and confidence from Auckland City. A couple of changes too. Tade on, Howison off, you know, so it's been all on this afternoon here at Shepherd's Park, but
well, it's been a good clash. It's been worthy of the top of the table, albeit perhaps without being unkind to Birkenhead. I think Auckland City were playing within themselves, in their shells a little in the first half, and perhaps not giving of their best, but that was largely down to Birkenhead's approach when they were out of possession. They really have come with a game plan, and for the most part they've managed to smother Auckland out of the game. Still time with 4 of the 5 minutes to be added on to play. Tade. He won't need a second invitation to shoot on goal. Drake, what a lovely little roll of the football. Sets it up here, out on the edge. Vale, that was handy as well. They are finishing all over Birkenhead at the moment, Auckland City. But can they find the equaliser? They've been dangerous at set-piece play all afternoon. And great save. That would have been one heck of an own goal. I reckon that's a clean flick on from Corbin Piper. And how good Silvio Roddick.
we keep saying the service tonight has been just exquisite, hasn't it?
I take it back, Harry. Second look, that was an attacking header, wasn't it? Gosh, I thought that had glanced off Piper. Regardless, it was saved. Driven across at the near post. Another corner. And this time, the big figure of Silvio Roddick. And I reckon there's some relief in those cheers from the Birkenhead fans. They're not quite as brave as they were 10 or 15 minutes ago was Tracy a long way out of his penalty area. Away by O'Leary. Carey, Tade tried to play the little 1-2. Brings that one down and beat one player, but someone else was in close attendance. Over the top it goes. Half cleared away. Tade scuffed his attempt. Brotherton. Tade, Kilcolly now, Kilcolly, and saved by Roddick at the near post. He couldn't hold it, but he keeps it out.
Well, all the pressure now coming from Auckland City, as you could expect in the dying stage of this one, chasing that second equalising goal. And that man, Sylvia Roddick, in the middle of the goal for Birkenhead, doing everything possible to keep this one out.
It's another corner. Well, I think
in amongst saves.
In amongst some good performances, he's starting to ink in man of the match credentials, isn't he, Silvio Roddick? He's been the centre of attention in the last 15 minutes or so. Swung in. He couldn't get there that time. Does he get a punch on it? He does. Auckland City will send this in again, though. Tade, heavy first touch. Maintains possession. Tade, near post! What an equaliser! Emi Tade, you are a magician. Cam Howison delights in the background, the sent-off skipper. Oh my goodness, Harry Nata, how does he find room here?
Oh,
he
well, he actually knew what he was going to do. He could get it when he had the ball on the right-hand side. He was going to try and find himself a yard of space. What a game changer this guy has been. Auckland City back from the death, 2-0 down inside the last 10 minutes, have come back and are now even Stevens with Birkenhead.
Oh goodness, this is one that has very much now slipped away from Birkenhead. If they do hold on and come away with a point, and it seems incredible I'm even saying that, if they come away with a point, they haven't won a point here today, Harry. They'll feel like they've lost two.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's, you got to, again, the tide swung when that goal went in, that equalising goal, wasn't it? From Sam Brotherton earlier on.
In a way, I almost think it was the sending off of the captain, because that was the moment when, okay, we got absolutely nothing to lose here now. We're down 2-0, we're down a man.
Yep. Absolutely.
And they think they can win this now. And nobody is surprised. Drake, is there time for one more chance? Garriga cannons off the Spaniard, and I tell you what, that was a half chance. And that is the final moment in a most enthralling match. Top of the table. Two teams that can't be separated. They will stay top of the table for now with other matches to be played. They both came in with 2 wins from 2 starts, and they've drawn this afternoon. Auckland City back from the brink. 2-0 down, a man down, and through Brotherton and Tade, they scramble a share of the points. It's been a brilliant encounter at the top of the table. I hope you've enjoyed it, folks. It's Birkenhead United 2, Auckland City 2.